Our movie this week was Virtual Combat, starring the
Don the
infamous
Dragon Wilson.
Don the Dragon Wilson.
He learned to act.
Basically, let me just sum this up as best as possible.
Well, hang on 1 second.
Virtuosity, virtuosity, but crappy.
What about the theme? Don't we need the theme?
Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped the gun there. Sorry. Go ahead.
Let's see. What you're saying though about virtuosity was so close that I had to look up which one came out first.
Right.
And you will never guess which one came out first.
The Virtual Combat came out first.
Nope, Virtual Combat came out first.
That's what I just said.
No, I was answering.
That's not what I said.
All right.
But like a month or two, it came out in Italy, I think, the same year as Virtuosity, but it premiered in Italy like a month or two before Virtuosity premiered in the US.
Really, that close together?
Yes.
They were filming
I was
at the same
hoping that
time.
there was like there's a bigger gap just because of the quality of the films being so different. I mean, Virtuosity was a really good movie with good acting.
Well, what are you trying to say?
An actual story, as opposed to this movie, which was the same
Which
general
starred Don
idea,
the Dragon Wilson. That's
but
all you have to
giant
say.
pile of shit.
So you have your if you go to the IMDb link that's in the show notes, it'll tell you. Let's see. Towards the bottom release date, it says January 16, 1996 in the U.S., but in Italy, July 11th, 1995.
Oh.
And then if you look up Virtuosity, it also came out in 1995, but it came out, let's see.
Yeah, but when did they film?
It came out in August of 1995. So a month later, Virtuosity came out after Virtual Combat.
But when did they film?
Would you ever guess that?
I really don't think the description of the movie needs to be anything more than that, than a very cheap version of Virtuosity with no real plot and Don Dragon Wilson, as opposed to Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe.
There is a plot, kind of.
Where?
Oh. Well, the plot is that it's the same plot as Virtuosity, right? A killer gets out of the computer, as well as some sex programs or whatever, and it's up to Don the Dragon Wilson to stop it, just like it was up to Denzel Washington to stop Russell Crowe.
So what you're saying is Denzel Washington saw Don the Dragon Wilson in this movie,
right,
and said, "No, I can do this shit better."
Yes,
and
that's exactly what happened. It's exactly. They said the makers of Virtuosity said, we're out of ideas. We don't know what to do. Let's go see what Don the Dragon Wilson is up to. And they saw
because that's your go-to. That's your go-to.
Yeah, everybody says that in Hollywood. Didn't you know that?
All right. So we've gone through the description of the movie. I think I don't think we need to cover it any more than that.
That's fine.
So let's go back to the idea that so in that movie they had communicators, but they had like strange be close to the tricorders in old Trek, where it was this massive box that they held in their hands,
like a
that flipped up,
yeah.
that would flip up. And every time they did, they had that nice that almost Star Trek type sound effects too, like even when he hung up the phone, it was just like there was a screen on there on the phone, and then he just put it down and go every time.
And it was a CRT screen.
Yeah.
Somehow
with like 2-inch bezels on it.
Yeah, with the tube and stuff in there. But what was her name? Mary or Grace or somebody?
Was that a person, or was that like the digital assistant on the phone?
That was the digital assistant.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a person.
I thought it was two of them though. Wasn't it a male version and a female version?
Yes.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
That's what Alexa does.
But the way he used it was just like you would a cell phone. He had like triangulate where people were, and then
Right.
get information, data, and stuff from the communicator,
and all sorts of like at the end there where he like this
Put
is
it in
where
the
we parked
elevator.
or something like that, and he put it in the elevator, and it like
In his one tone of voice that he has.
Don the Dragon, yes.
Yeah.
I would like to point out an excellent scene from this movie, though, that I've never seen in any other movie ever. So just for a little background, it wasn't just one person that gets out of this computer game. Well, the computer game is not really a game so much as it is a simulation. So Don the Dragon Wilson uses it to practice fighting, and he goes up different levels, and level 10 is the highest level. And the villain in this movie is actually the fighter in level 10 that Don the Dragon Wilson can never beat in the simulation. And the scientist that created this creates some kind of bath made of slime that the computer hooks up to, and then a body will come out of it that's the physical version of the virtual person in the computer simulation. So his name is Dante, and he's a badass, but he doesn't speak. He telepathically communicates with everybody. How I don't know.
He telepathically communicates with. He never once speaks. He telepathically communicates with everybody, and he has some sort of a weird psychic link with the two sex bots or whatever you want to call them that came out before him, and he called the one like his "You are the light to my darkness" or something like that. They had they're two completely separate different games and like systems. I'm not sure there's like nothing that explain any of that at all, besides the fact that they both came from the power grid or whatever.
Yeah,
there's an explanation.
These women are part of a sex simulation that you can pay for, and they strap you into what looks like those G-force things, those giant gyroscopes or whatever.
That's the other thing I wanted to get to. Why is it that they're stuck in these? They're like, why are they being flipped all around to go into
I don't know.
world?
I don't know what that's supposed to simulate. Maybe it moves them around in the world or something.
What type of weird VR sex are they having where they're flipping upside down and spinning all around?
Hey, don't kink shame.
Yeah, don't kink shame gyroscope VR sex.
Well, now one of the things the dominatrix lady that came out. Did you notice that she killed everyone with kink?
Yes.
Yeah, that was her. So that's one of the scenes I want to bring up, because it was so I had to just laugh out loud when I saw this. So
with the whip.
Yes.
But you put the whip underneath the yes.
So the two women, one, they're both from these sex programs, but one is a dominatrix and one is just kind of like a hot, foxy lady. She's more subdued and stuff, and they're trapped in this room, which Dante, the villain, says, "Well, look around the room, and I'll tell you, how to get out of there or whatever." So they look around the room and he says, "Oh, okay, I got it." But they never tell him what to do, because the one girl is about to break out the window, and then the dominatrix says, "No, be quiet." So there's a guard outside the door, and the dominatrix takes her whip and kind of shimmies it under the door, and somehow she could control the very tip of the whip. And this guard is sleeping in a chair right outside the door, and she takes the whip and she pops his balls with it. And he covers his balls and makes a stupid face. He's like, "Oh!" And then she does it a second time, pops him again in the balls. She said, "I can kill you with this whip if you don't unlock the door." So
he just runs over and opens it.
Yeah. So instead of just walking away, which any sane person would have done,
or grabbing the whip,
or grabbing the whip is only 6 or 7 foot long, so he could just walk away. It's not like she captured him with it; she just snapped him in the balls twice and made him unlock the door. So he runs over and unlocks the door, so she didn't kill him with the ball whip and stuff. Just crazy scene.
I think I missed a real good movie here.
You did. I mean, there was insane stuff like that in this that I wish
it was so bad.
The other movie we had watched, what was it, Cyber Stalker 2?
Cybertracker
2. I wish it had been more ridiculous like this, because there were several scenes in this that were like that were just made no sense, but they just put them in there for entertainment value, I guess.
It didn't take itself too seriously. That's the best kind of movie.
Yeah, well, maybe it did, but it was just too stupid to know better. So, anyway, what did y'all think? I enjoyed it just for its ludicrous nature.
So let me ask you, was this better or worse than the Ultimate Goalpost?
Universal Soldiers?
No.
Gunhead?
Birdemic.
Well, this was actually a real movie, though. This is has production and stuff like that.
Okay.
It may not have been very high.
They paid their cameramen.
Yeah. They actually had several people doing different jobs instead of one person doing everything. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it just because it was fun and it was funny, but it was unintentionally funny, I think is what so I like movies like that don't try to wink at the camera and just to be stupid, or sincere, but they're just so dumb, And it did have a lot more action than Cybertracker 2 as far as Don the Dragon Wilson fighting.
Actual fighting?
No, hold on a second. Hold on a second. That's something I wanted to touch on. A lot of the movies nowadays do the exact opposite of what this movie does. So this movie had action in it, but it was super slow. Like, how many times can we slowly watch the dominatrix woman spin this kick in a circle? Each time she did it, it was like a full rotation of like a minute. And then they do it again. Nowadays, they kind of speed that up, so it looks like fast-paced action. This is super slow action.
Was she wearing a skimpy outfit?
Well, yeah, she was wearing a leather dominatrix outfit.
Okay, then that was the point. It wasn't the fight.
But it was all the action. It was it was all the guy. It was everybody. All the action in the movie.
You don't like watching Don in slow mo?
Well, the beginning of the movie is him in the game, and every single fight in the game was like the whole beginning scene was like 20 minutes long of just super slow fighting.
And did you see the fighters that he had to fight?
Are the same? It's the same fight scene, but they speed it up so it looks like fast-paced action, super cool.
This was glad I missed
super slow.
And remember the bad guys who came from behind the obstacles in the car garage? How he pops into the car garage in the beginning of the movie, right? I think it was like level 4, and he's looking around like, where could they be? But there's like only 2 objects in the garage. Like, it's very wide open. Yes. There's a big box and then a couple of drums over there. And then they just sort of pop out from behind like, ha-ha, I bet you didn't know I was here, did you?
I would have never guessed.
The 2 guys in leotards doing little flips and stuff.
Oh. And the thing is, it's like they didn't even... You could have at least gotten somebody with some definition or muscle tone to be like the bad guy. It was just like some chubby guy they just found in a bar off a bar stool, and they put him in some kind of weird ninja outfit.
I think his name was Dad.
Yeah, he definitely had a dad bod. But yeah, there was about a million things you could point out in this movie that were not very professional, I would think.
Now, one other one I want to point out really quickly is in that same scene in the garage. You realize when they defeated those guys, they turned into snot.
Plasma. It's called plasma.
Yeah. That was the thing. Well, outside of the game, to kill these people, you needed 500 psi against their stomach or something, or
in one spot. I think that's all it was.
So
that only worked if they had that ring thing on their neck, though.
No, the 500 psi. Because remember the dominatrix girl, he like hit her twice or something in the same spot, and then it hit the 500 psi. That's how she exploded on the wall.
Right. That's how he killed Dante too. He jumped on him when he was on the ground.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but the thing is, when they first explained it, he demonstrated his ability to affect her by placing the collar around her neck and gave the remote over to the other guy and he had to use the remote to affect her.
Well, yeah,
I
didn't want to
like
kill
a
her.
shock.
Though. Yeah, that
so
was
the
just
collar. Yeah, there was something else that they said were like the electricity from that was supposed to slowly degrade at them or something like that.
Mhm.
And
It
that's
could
why I
cause
thought
pain, or it could eliminate them, or something like that.
Yeah.
But depending on the.
But that's what confused me. Why they didn't use electricity, because she was tased, and I was like, well, wouldn't that have killed her?
Yeah.
But
you call that a taser? You mean that starlight he was firing from his magic wand?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot
the Star
about
Trek
that thing.
phaser set to stun type situation there.
When did this turn into Harry Potter?
And they did have laser guns in this too, which is kind of cool.
Like they had it in the last movie for 10 seconds at the beginning of the movie?
Yeah. But they had these and then how corny was that when he was like this acting scene of his partner's wife when he has to tell her that his her husband died.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
Oh man, that was one of the worst performances.
Just get out of here.
Dog has so much emotional range.
Then there's always the possibility he's still just in a bar somewhere.
I was cringing the whole time watching her. I actually felt embarrassed for her watching that scene. I was like, holy cow. Why would they make you do that? Why couldn't you just be naked with your mouth shut or something? At least you wouldn't have embarrassed yourself.
Check, please.
But speaking of that, they did have boobies in this movie.
Oh, the gratuitous
boobies.
nudity.
Yeah, in this, I guess, the sex simulation. That was funny though. That wife and husband couple that went to.
What was the point of that scene?
I don't. It was like to show you, I guess.
Hey, make sure you stop me at level 5.
Yeah. And he wanted to give him like all day pass or something. They said no, or a weekend pass or something.
Hey, no, the everything pass. I took notes on that part. In the beginning, I was taking notes. Like you can't be serious.
But so, do you think this technology will be real one day, where they'll have like total virtual immersion, where you feel like you're actually in a place?
It's already real.
But I mean, it would have to be some kind of brain interface, right? So it doesn't feel like you're just looking at a screen or something.
Yeah, when it could be. I was just going to say, I think whenever they can actually interface with the same parts of your brain that intake sensory data, like touch, smell,
that's what I was
sight.
thinking. Right.
Yeah, I think when you can do that, you can essentially make it real, because all of that is just electrical impulses anyway.
Right.
You know?
I wonder, because what is that Musk is developing, that Neuralink or something?
Yeah.
Like, what is that even for? I'm not sure. But
we just saw what it's for.
That's what it's for.
That's what it's for. It's to practice your fighting skills and to have sex with dominating bimbos.
It's when you're in your.
That's what the internet's for.
It's when you're in your cryo sleep chamber on your way to Mars. It gives you something to do.
That's it.
The Neuralink.
Where they went wrong is you see what they didn't tell you is that all those programs that left the game were actually flat packs, and someone forgot to set the proper permissions, and that's why the data between the fighting packs and the sex packs got kind of mixed up.
Yeah, they all had root permission, which screwed them up. Shouldn't have done that.
That's what happened. They should have used snaps.
And what was that gibberish that was on the scientist's computer screen?
Oh my God!
Just, like, is he? I could. It wasn't even.
It wasn't
words
Matrix style.
Listen, that was just polka dot nonsense. It was terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't any kind of commands or. It was just random letters and numbers all bunched together with like one word that says access security or something. And it's just like, that's not even. I don't know what that is.
So how is it that the same year that Virtuosity came out, that this came out? So this had people, so they accessed these things through something that like spun them all around. Like what do they call that? The G-force testers or whatever.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
At least Virtuosity, you were in something that suspended you off the air, where you actually had to do like movement. It actually looked like something that you would have to do to go into a VR.
Right.
And then they actually had stuff that looks like code and like somebody actually programming and with like real computers and something that was at least mildly believable. And this, which is just
Something which allows you to suspend disbelief.
Right.
Well, it's two different audiences. One was made because they know that there are real technical people out there, and the other one was like, everybody else.
Was made for the people that wanted to see Don the Dragon Wilson, kick ass.
Mm-hmm.
And breasts,
Right.
And gratuitous nudity.
Now, I watched this partly on Tubi and partly on YouTube, and the comments on YouTube I thought would be funny, but these people genuinely love this movie. Yeah, wow, I can't believe you have this movie. It's one of my favorites. How could this fucking movie be your favorite movie? That's crazy. How is that even possible?
Because when they were a kid, they only had the one VHS.
It must
That's
have
it.
been something
That's
like that.
totally it, right there.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you why. Because remember the other reason why they had to wear the collar? So that the women won't learn.
Oh,
remember?
I forgot about that. You're right. Yeah.
You can't give women access to information. They'll take over the entire world. So you put the collar on them and restrict their ability to learn. You zap
I'm
them.
liking this idea. Oh, wait.
You can see Joe slowly. That's actually not even headphones he's making. That's a freaking collar he's going to put on his...
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's Jackie's collar. I see what you're doing, Joe. You devious son of a gun, you.
So you guys have
figured
mentioned,
it out now.
You guys have mentioned Don Wilson before, and so I took the opportunity while you guys were talking about the beginning of the movie to go out and find out more about him. I didn't realize he was actually a very accomplished kickboxer.
Oh yeah, he's a champion.
He's a martial artist that broke into acting.
Yeah.
Well, apparently not.
Well, okay, that pretended he was an actor. He just didn't do it very well.
Yeah. Yeah, that was someone who was like, "We'll make you a star, son."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he made
Arnie
$1 million
did
in
it.
these movies. But look at like Arnold's first movie. They didn't even let him talk. They dubbed him in Hercules and stuff. Yeah.
Hercules in New York.
But he had the screen presence, and say what you will, like he actually did. He
does have charisma. You're right.
He does, I think he actually worked really hard at the acting and the language part of it, even though it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
Whereas Don Wilson, I think, was just like he just walked on the set, and they were like,
he literally read his lines out loud, and that was it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Now do a spin kick, Don.
Right.
Yeah, he's there just to do moves.
Put on these spankies and do a spin kick. Show your abs.
But that's what was so disappointing about the last movie we watched is he didn't hardly do any fighting. It was like, why is he even in this freaking movie? It's definitely not his acting.
All this crap we're talking about, Don, he's going to show up at one of our houses. And
he's going to be
asses kicked.
He was
probably the Danny's house and just spin kick.
Yeah.
Next time you see me, I'll just have a boot print on my face.
Watch.
Hey guys.
How old is he now? He's got to be like 70.
Oh, I'm sure he can.
You know what?
It's going to be
exactly. He probably
slow.
still kicked my ass.
Yeah.
Right.
It's going to be an ultra slow spin kick too. It's going to take 2 minutes to complete the full spin.
You're going to be able to step to the side and look at it.
You're going to forget that he was spin kicking you, and that's why you get hit.
Yeah, I'm just like looking at my cat.
No. Wait, how old is he? Somebody look it up real quick.
All right, let me look it up. Let's see. Don Wilson.
But hold that spin kick for a moment, Don. Let me check my email.
He was born in 1954. And that makes him what?
Almost 70. Yeah,
he's 69.
69. Yeah.
Wow, 69 years old.
Hey, you know what? He might be in good shape still.
I'm sure he is. Yeah,
I doubt he stopped taking care of himself at some point.
No. Yeah. He may be still making movies. Who knows?
I doubt it.
You don't think so?
Was that him in
direct-to-video?
John Wick?
As what?
Really?
Oh, one of the guys doing martial
art.
The guy, the guy that was like at the sushi shop that was.
Yeah. Do you know who that is?
Is that Don?
No. Do you know where I've seen him? Iron Chef America. He was the nephew of the Iron Chef Japan guy, and he was only ever an martial artist. I know. No. I know that. But he was on the show, and it was always just like a joke because he would introduce the show, and Iron Chef was all campy anyway. Like the whole point is that it was just silly, but like he was the American cousin of the guy from Japan, and it turns out I just watched John Wick last week, and I was like, you've got to be shitting me. He's the bad guy?
What's his
That
name?
can't be. And he's like a total martial artist on it, and he was actually a reasonably good actor.
He's got to be 65, 70 years old, though.
No.
Yeah.
No. He's in his 40s. Come on.
No, he's not. He's been acting since I was a kid.
Okay.
What's his name? Look it up.
Don Wilson's last acting role was in 2022, a movie called Lockhart: Into the Past.
Oh.
Can't shake him.
Was he spin kicking in that too?
Well, it's called Lockhart, and the director and writer's name is David Lockhart, which is kind of a weird scene. You just name a movie after yourself. But, yeah. Strange. But he's still with it.
Okay, so the show is presented by a successor to the original Iron Chef as opposed to being a remake. The chairman is portrayed by the actor and martial artist Mark Dacascos. Dacascos. And he is, you're right, 59. Holy shit. He kicked ass for being in his 50s.
Right?
Who was that?
I
Damn.
told you he was older.
Mark Dacascos. Dacascos.
What movies do I remember him from? I'm trying, because his face is extremely familiar. I know I've seen him in martial arts movies, but I can't think of the martial arts movies.
He was in his mid 50s or late 50s in that movie.
He was kicking ass.
He's in killer shape. He's
It's not like Keanu's a kid.
Oh, that's true.
He looks younger than Keanu.
Joe, I gotta ask. You got ventilation over there?
I'm in my kitchen. It's huge.
He likes to smell it all up.
Yeah. I'm looking at it.
Kirby with you?
Huh?
I said you didn't bring your Kirby with you?
Yeah,
I did not.
Where's your Kirby?
I had to take the fan out of it to use on my 3D printer. It was a 3D printer fan that I put in there, so it worked out.
His breakout role was 1993 film Only the Strong, in which he played Lewis, a capoeira master.
Oh, yes! I loved that movie.
He takes a high school's potential failures and turns their lives around by teaching them the Brazilian martial art.
Right, and he was a veteran.
Now,
I loved that movie.
On Don the Dragon Wilson's IMDb page, the trailer is for a movie called Death Fighter from 2017, and it looks awesome. I mean, like, I'm not saying that ironically. The action looks badass, and it has a lot of old school action people in it too. Cynthia Rothrock. So put that on your watch list. Anyway, we need to pick the next movie. Oh, we need to rate this one. I give it a rousing thumbs up, just like everybody else, right? You all loved it.
You would.
Yeah.
So okay, well, so that's one thumbs up. Anybody else? Honky, I can't see your hand. It's doing something weird. It's like pointing down or something.
It's a big old thumbs down. From
He's
like
actually
the beginning movie to
upside
the
down.
end,
That's
I
what
was
it
just
is.
really hoping it would be over. I actually like Cyber Tracker 2 more than I like this movie.
Really?
Ooh,
Yes.
Ouch.
Well, Cybertruck
What
was
about
a better
Universal
made movie.
Soldiers?
Definitely.
I couldn't even finish Universal Soldiers, so
Oh,
that's
that was
definitely
awful.
above that.
Gunhead.
It's still above Gunhead, but it's like
It was in English, so it's better than Gunhead.
I could tell what was going on in this movie, whether it was crap or not. So it's got to be above Gunhead.
Yeah, definitely above Gunhead. But
This movie made me question the people I'm hanging out with.
so that's a thumbs up from you too, Scotty. All right. Mordenstein, did you get a chance to watch it?
Yes, I fell asleep a couple times at restarting it.
Oh, come on.
So I'm going to give it a thumbs down in the hopes that Scotty will watch Psycho Gorman.